to the show. H-bomb in the lab, cook it, feel on screen. Zesty vibes loud, turn cringe to a meme. All your filters off, it's a wild reveal. One edit from me and the fiction gets real. Zesty Phil.
Good evening, everyone. Phil here, and welcome to the Daily Wrap for what was Wednesday, the 29th of October, 2025. Now, this was an interesting streaming day for multiple reasons. We had a return podcast where we talked about a few interesting topics, which I'd like to get you caught up on. We had a great stream of Silk Song where it seems like we are getting closer to the end game of the game. And we had a night stream of I keep saying it's tortured souls in my head. It's tormented souls too. Survival horror on the late stream. And sadly this time things kind of flipped. I want to talk a little bit about that. It's certainly not the end of the world, but at the same time, it needs to be addressed because now 2 nights in a row I'm seeing a pattern that I don't like. Okay. All right, here we go. Podcast today. Great show. We addressed many different topics, notably the Wings of Redemption appearance on the podcast on Monday and whether or not I would consider doing more work with him in the future. We talked about the schedule and why currently I'm not playing games like Outer Worlds 2 or Dispatch, but I'm interested in playing them once things start to calm down in November. We talked about ideas for the upcoming marathon that's going to be at the end of November. Notably, it's going to be on Black Friday, which should be Friday the 28th of November. I always do a marathon on Black Friday, but I'm just not sure what to do this coming year, and we were talking about ideas for that and other things as well. So it was a pretty loaded podcast of a lot of interaction and essentially a lot of brainstorming and getting people involved in the whole process of figuring out what comes next, okay? And to be honest, people really appreciate that because when I involve more people like that, they tend to support more. I'm not even kidding you. By the end of the podcast, we had already hit a goal. Yeah, people just like, wow, that's awesome. Phil's involving us in the process. He's taking our feedback and constructive feedback and actually applying it. Yes, like that's what I want. I want constructive feedback. I want to know what you want and what what you're looking for so I can make it. I can do it. I want to do that content, right? So anyway, it was amazing. Then we jumped into Silk Song, and Silk Song was great today. Thinking about it off the top of my head, we did an entire optional dungeon featuring the Green Prince. I didn't realize it was an optional dungeon. I actually thought it was one of the main dungeons of the game. No, it was actually an entire new part of the map that I never even knew was there. And what happened was I got a map and the game says, oh, you've got all the maps in the game. I was like, oh, really? So I finally obtained every map of the game, and that means that there's no other maps for certain areas where they don't have a map for them. They just don't exist, which is kind of interesting. So it was pretty challenging because this part of the game, there is no bench anywhere. You have to beat the entire dungeon and the bosses without ever basically dying, or else you have to start from the beginning, which was very frustrating. I got it done. Then we did a ton of optional bosses, like 4 or more optional bosses that were hidden throughout the game. And people were like, you basically beat every optional boss now. Now it's on to the main story. And so we had 2 more main story dungeons to do. We started doing when we got into it, and then we ran out of time. So there was good stuff all around. Great, content, in my opinion. Great gameplay. I was frustrated, of course, with my thumb. My callus gets ever bigger. Look how big it looks now. My callus gets ever bigger playing this game because, man, that Xbox Elite 2 controller is just not made for it. It's really not. But I made good progress, and we got even more support. Like, no exaggeration, we hit like 230 or more of support. So basically, it was like a goal and a half hit in one stream, which is absolutely amazing, right? Thank you so much to people who continue to show up, engage, and support Silk Song. Then we had the late stream. Now, folks, this is 2 nights in a row where I am playing a game on a late stream, and people show up and seem to engage, and we're having a good time, like the build-up, right? We're talking on the build-up stream. We're having a good time. Some support's coming in. We're shooting the shit. It's all good. And then I start to play the game, and it seems like what you notice distinctly. The YouTube chat is being positive, is being engaged, is supporting, and the Kick chat is negative, toxic, disengaged, and not supporting whatsoever. This has now happened 2 nights in a row. Now, particularly last night, Someone had been bugging me for days and days saying, hey, we want you to turn on the moral support messages again. I talked about this last night. Just to summarize, when you're watching someone on Kick, you earn channel points for how long you watch them. You can use those channel points for various things, like wagers, where you can wager the points, hey, will this happen or will this happen, right? Will Phil clock out by this time period? Will Phil win this max match? Stuff like that. But in addition, there's these messages that you could do highlighted. And originally, you could actually put text and stuff in them. But we had to turn them off because what we found out is that there's a loophole that trolls could get banned from the channel, but then they could still do these messages. So they would get banned and they would start doing moral support messages to say horrible things, racist things, doxing, all kinds of messed up stuff. We had to turn it off. Apparently this week, Kick fixed it. So people were bugging me for 2-3 days to turn it on. I was like, all right, I'll help you guys out. You know, you guys have been great recently, you've been supporting me or whatever, so I'll turn these messages on. So last night, I'm not even kidding you, I turned the messages on, and immediately all support stopped on Kick. I wish that this was an exaggeration. This is literally cause and effect what happened. I turned these messages on last night. People start, oh, who needs all my moral support to get messages in chat to get noticed? And then no support came in. So last night, Ninja Gaiden 4, we ended the stream at $50 of support, which almost all of it had come from the YouTube side. What the hell gives? So tonight, I give people the benefit of the doubt. I said, maybe it was just a slow stream last night in Ninja Gaiden, that's the issue. That's fine. Let's do Tormented Souls tonight. So with Tormented Souls 2, we were now in the city. We had left the convent. We're exploring the city. There was a whole big mall segment where we went from store to store, solving puzzles, fighting monsters, exploring, doing all this stuff. We beat them all. We moved on. Now we went to another street. We actually ended up at a processing plant, and we're going through there. It's funny because they call it a processing plant. It looks like another mansion. I'm sure it's like a second mansion in the game, which is kind of weird. I don't know why they think it looks like a fish processing plant, because it really doesn't. But creepy vibes, good atmosphere, you know? Again, throwback to total old school games. I actually had to take notes on paper to solve some of the puzzles tonight because they were actually quite tricky. But I had a good time. The YouTube side, engaged. We had 5 to 10 people who were really into it. They were talking with me the whole time. They were helping me with puzzles. People were supporting with super chats like crazy tonight. On the Kick side, was there a lot of people in the chat? Yes. Were they actively engaged in the game? Not really. They were saying it was boring. Were they supporting? Not at all. You want to know what they were doing? Highlighted messages. Oh, moral support message, moral support message, moral support message. Well, that's great. I don't get paid for that. Okay? So I did everyone a solid last night. I said, I'll turn these messages back on because you've been so supportive. Then they decided to take the support away. I'm not even kidding. Tonight we had 1 sub, maybe 500 to 700 kicks. So I think overall the entire night I made like $12 on Kick. So the people who are watching on Kick, it's not everyone. I want to be clear and abundantly upfront, transparent. It's not everyone on Kick, okay? There are also people on Kick who are still supporting. But it's like I said months ago. The people who are watching on Kick, the vast majority of them, there are people who are there to troll. There are people who are still hanging out from Kino Casino. Don't ask me why. They come by, they have their little good old boys club mentality. This is why I kind of have lax moderation on Kick. I don't want to sit there moderating the thing all night. I just don't. But at the same time, there's also been a positive element of support on Kick. Now for 2 nights, there hasn't been. All right? So here's what I did at the end of the night. I said, fine, have it your way. And I turned off the highlighted messages. And I'm not turning them back on. At least not until support returns. Because I was getting the support. I gave an extra thing as a way to say, here's a reward for being so nice to me. And then people said, well, then we'll just stop being nice to you. Man, I thought it's the opposite. I thought in life what happens is people are nice to you, you reciprocate, so now everyone just keeps that nice relationship going. I didn't think it was, oh, someone's nice to you, so you're nice back, so then they start punching you in the face. Huh? I just don't get it. 2 nights in a row, this has been so, I had enough. So now the question is this a situation where this is going to be an ongoing thing with Kick, where it's just going to be people who are there and they're just going to troll and not support? I don't know. It very well could have just simply been, hey, the people there who normally would support weren't there. There was one person who gifted this up who was a regular. But outside of that, there wasn't a few others that normally are regular. So maybe that's what happened. I don't know. But, yeah, I'm just not going to sit here and get abused by this audience who's sitting there. Oh, look at these highlighted messages, but no one's going to support. Ha ha ha, this is funny. And that's what the messages are saying too. Ha ha ha, support, support. That's not support. It's a feature for them. It's not a feature for me. I get nothing out of a highlighted message in the chat. They do. So I really don't understand. I really think that Kick should have thought this out better when they implemented it. You know, they didn't. They kind of rushed and kind of copied what Twitch did, kind of in a half-assed way. I didn't think it in a better way. But hey, so here's the deal. Tonight we ended, I think it was like $75, $77 of support for Tormented Souls 2. Okay, that's not horrible. To be clear, and earlier today I had a great stream of Silksaw, so it's not like, oh my god, today was a failure. Not at all, not by any means. But I am disappointed because Tormented Souls 2 had been doing good. It had been regularly. This first 2 streams we hit the goal. Now this is the 3rd stream that we didn't. That sucks, right? Again, much like Ninja Gaiden 4, I don't want this to become a pattern. I want to be playing games that people like, will engage, and support with. Maybe tonight, once again, was just a one-off stream, much like what happened last night with Ninja Gaiden 4. I don't know. I'm not going to act like the sky is falling and say, that's it, the playthrough is over. I'm going to keep playing it. We're going to resume it next week. Just like we're doing with Ninja Gaiden 4, both games will resume next week as late night streams. Now, let's see what happens between now and next week. I hope that this pattern, this nonsensical pattern on Kick does not continue. Okay? If support returned and people start supporting again, I'll probably turn on the highlighted messages again so that people can get... you know, some nice messages in there. Again, it's a way to reciprocate. Okay? Let's see what happens. All right, let's go from there. I don't want to be a negative person, but man, people were being complete dicks to me in chat tonight. They were laughing about it. They thought it was funny. Yeah, real funny. And then I turned off the messages, and guess what? The laughing stopped. All of a sudden, the bitching began. You take away our messages? Yeah, because you're using them in a very negative, toxic way. You're actually hurting the business that I'm trying to run. I don't care about you. I care about the people who are here to have fun, be a positive part of that fun. And listen, I understand you can laugh at me and you can make fun of me and my gameplay or whatever. I'm okay with that. But no, you don't take away income because you think it's funny. That's not how it works. All right? So, let's see how it goes. You know, with Kick over the next several days. I do hope that there's a turnaround. I do hope that the support comes back, to be frank with you. I like streaming on Kick. I like the dual aspect of having the Kick chat be kind of unruly and crazy, and the YouTube chat is more organized and more like the longer time fans. I like that element. I do. But I'm not going to be sitting there streaming to a void of people who are just sitting there being dicks, which is exactly what just happened 2 nights in a row. So let's see if there's a turnaround, and we'll go from there. All right, but anyway, I'm not quitting out on these games. I will absolutely continue with Tormented Souls 2 next week, but I do hope that there is a turnaround, okay? I do hope that the game will come back and we'll start getting back on track with support again. All right, okay. So, tomorrow, folks, I'm both ecstatic for and I'm worried about. Here's why. Tomorrow is Thursday the 30th. All day long, I'm going to be playing the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. In fact, I'm about to buy it and pre-install it on PC here. But guess what just happened? Someone came to my stream and said, I just got it and it unlocked. Oh, the collection has no lobbies. The collection has no ranking point system whatsoever. It feels like it's a half-finished game. And the game devs posted up it earlier today on social media saying they will add those features if the game sells well. You're going to add features that are a standard of any fighting game if the game sells well. So you're selling us an unfinished, under-featured fighting game. Okay? You're admitting this publicly in these posts. And now that people are buying the game and realizing the features aren't in there, you're saying, oh, well, if more people buy, we'll give you those features later. Something seems awry, doesn't it? And I've been criticizing these collections a lot as of late, especially the ones recently that have come out from Capcom, saying no lobbies, no a proper ranking system, no crossplay. These are the 3 key features to a fighting game having legs and living more than a month. The problem is they're releasing these collections as a quick, hey, let's make quick money. And when they do that, they only last a month and then that's it. People run back to emulate these games for free on the internet and then never play these collections again, so they die. I don't think this collection is going to succeed unless these people have a change of heart and actually add the features. I'm being honest. I think this game will be a couple weeks, it's going to flop, and no one's going to play it. That sucks. I was looking to have this be something that I played for a while. something cool, retro fighting games, retro Mortal Kombat, which I haven't played in 100 years. At the very least, tomorrow should be fun. Okay? But, sadly, right now, the way I see it, this ain't looking good. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. What we're going to do tomorrow is we're going to not do a podcast, but do like a little hangout session. And then we're going to jump right into the game. We're actually going to be doing offline gameplay where I check out like Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3 and play through their campaigns. Then we'll jump online probably with Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 or maybe even Mortal Kombat Trilogy. And we'll see how it goes. And hopefully it goes well. And then we have a good time. But I'm nervous. I'm nervous that this collection will suck, and then it's just going to be no fighting games in the rotation, although I have been expecting them to be in there. So let's see what happens tomorrow. I hope you'll come by. We'll enjoy classic Mortal Kombat together. We'll have a good day, and, we'll see how it goes from there. Keep in mind, Friday is the upcoming, very anticipated Halloween marathon. 8 horror games you guys nominated and voted for. Also, me in costume, booze, food, a special DSP tries it with treats. It's going to be a great day. I hope you'll be here Friday if you don't care about Mortal Kombat. I'll see you then. All right, everybody. Have a good night. See you all tomorrow for another full and fun day of gameplay. Mortal Kombat Marathon tomorrow, all day on DSP Gaming. Everyone have a good night. See you tomorrow. Peace out.